Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to part 2 of By Any Means Necessary. If y'all are with me all, we've been here all day. If y'all been watching the show, I had DJ DC in the building at, what time was that? That was around 2 o'clock. And now, that was talking about DJing, talking about the entertainment scene of Hampton, Newport News, 757 basically, and what we can do to just let people know that we have talent here. Y'all don't got to go to LA. Y'all don't got to go to DC. Y'all don't got to go to Atlanta. Y'all don't got to go to LA. Y'all can stay right here. So that was earlier. And this time, we are talking about mental health, okay? So before we get started on that, y'all know how I do on Today in Black History. Happy birthday. I find it hard to believe they couldn't find more birthdays today, but happy birthday, Raz-B. Happy birthday. If y'all don't know who Raz-B is, Raz-B was part of B2K, a controversial member of B2K, but he turns 33 today. I didn't know he was that old.
Don't act like you weren't no fan.
First off, I was not a B2K fan.
I was a huge fan.
You were a B2K
I was.
fan?
I had posters of him everywhere.
Y'all, that's Bianca in the background. We're going to introduce her later, but that's my boo-boo. Hey, Bianca.
Hey.
Also, today in Black History, political activist and scholar Walter Rodney was assassinated by a bomb in Georgetown, Guyana. He was 38 years old. Rest in peace. And today's Black History quote comes from the Angela Davis. Hey, Auntie Angela. Radical simply means grasping things at the root. Okay, digging deep. Where'd it come from? We're not radical. We just trying to get it down from the root, dig it up, and figure out how we can change it. I'm all about that. For sure. Also, y'all know how we do on By Any Means Necessary. We talk about small businesses. We cannot talk about building our community and circulating the dollar if we don't know what's going on and who's doing what. So, in that vein, I want to promote... Listen, if y'all on my Facebook page promoting y'all businesses, I need information. You can't just give me a website. Y'all got to tell me what you guys do. So, shout out to Maisha Collins, who I had on the show last week. She was voted 2018 Activist of the Year by 103 Jams. And she is doing a free Genius and Common Youth workshop at Greenbrier Library, 6:15, which is Friday at 10 a.m. and Monday, 6:18 at 5 p.m. Attendees to perform at the Word at the American Dream Theater at 7 p.m. on the 19th. Also, Janika Joyner has a free mental health check-up and talk with the therapist. Hello! May was Mental Health Awareness Month, but we're going to talk about this 12 months out the year because it's so important. So, Janika Joyner, again, has a free mental health check-up June 30th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if, please go on my Facebook page for more information. But the address, y'all got to look close. Hold on. 1130 Taft Street, Suite C, Norfolk, Virginia, 23504. Also, BJ Peterson has Craven Characters. So if you want a character for your kid's birthday party, that's what they are into. And they do that. Book them today. They offer generators, tables, chairs, dunk tables. Okay, dunk tanks. Bubble balls, cornhole boards, concession machines, and 20 different inflatable bounce houses. Contact them at 757-329-4485. Shout out to Marcellus Matt. What up, bro? Half of ETP. Light switch available on DATPIFF. DATPIFF. 2 Kings available on Apple, Tidal, Spotify. Psycho available on Spinrilla. They making those rounds. If y'all remember, he was on 106 in Park. They won some fan contest. I don't remember. Hey, Marcellus, shout out to Divine, Alexander, Slay Boss. They do slick, like edge cream. Okay. Gotta get them edges right. I got locks, but I got to keep the edges right. Contact 757-329-2451. I will be remiss. Also, Leanne Hay says, how you doing? She put a whole bunch up here. Sisters in Startup. So this is an entrepreneurial event for Black women to come together. It's at Midtown Community Center. I am on the panel. That is July 22nd from 3 to 6 p.m. It'll be a great event. We have swag bags. We have, of course, advice to give. It's a networking event. If you do want to come, bring your business cards because, of course, it's a networking event. If you want to get that work, you got to link up. You got to have some type of tool in order to do that. Hello, Samuel. Thank you. Yes, mental health. It's lit. And it is lit. Sunshine Village Academy is now enrolling 2 to 4-year-olds for STEM program. That's 757-251-2451. And we'll come back and we'll do more of that later. Also, if you are looking to be an intern with 360, holla at us. Graphic design, videography, art, anybody in music, cinema, whatever you want to do that has to do with media or design, contact us at 360amp@gmail.com. Also, to get your company commercials, whatever you want for promo, hit us up so we can get you in the building. All right, let's get it popping, okay? So while we're really here, talking about mental health. Okay, why this topic is important to me. First off, hey, Bianca.
Hi.
This is Bianca. Y'all have known Bianca for, 7 years?
Yeah.
7 years. And when I say she is literally one of the strongest women I know, she is here. And when I wanted to do a show about mental health, I had to bring her in because Bianca's been through a lot. And she is sitting here as a strong black woman, a mother. She has a job. She has her own car. And she is doing her thing. And it just goes to show no matter what you've been through, you can come through it and you can get through it as long as you have the right people around you. And I think you definitely have that.
That's
right. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk more about that later. But why I wanted to do the show, it's been so much going on in the news. And it's weird because a lot of people are doing mental health shows as of late because there's been suicides. There's been high-profile suicides. So people want to bring attention to it. And absolutely, I definitely agree. But I feel like this is not a new problem. This is not something that is new, and I've been very transparent about my past, about my history. I have been in the mental health field since 2008. I was diagnosed with anxiety in 2013. I was on medication for it until this year. I was not taken off of it by the doctor. I took myself off of the medication in February because it was just way too much. So, I'm hyped. Let me slow down. So, yes, oh, thank you. Hold on 1 second. Y'all don't have sound on Facebook? Is that better? Let me know if y'all can hear. Let me know if y'all can hear now. Okay. Y'all good? Let me know. Yeah, pull it up for me. So, again, I know y'all can hear me on YouTube. So, yes, so it is something that's close to my heart through, you can hear, right? It's close to my heart through my profession and, again, something that I've dealt with personally. So I've been working with people for almost 10 years now. I've been somebody that's received help. I've been to therapy, all of those things. So I don't feel like it's something that us as a community should be ashamed of at all. I feel like even if you don't have any mental health issues, you need somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? We all go through stresses and we all deal with them in different ways. And a lot of times in the black community, we're taught to either stuff it or take it to God.
Yep.
Now, again, if y'all watch my show, y'all know me. So I don't judge and I don't try to put my beliefs on anybody else, but I am not somebody who subscribes to any particular religion. That's not who I am. But I do want to touch on this article that was just released on the 12th yesterday from the Houston Press. And it's talking about when the church may not be enough for mental illness among African Americans. Excuse me. In this article, it states that mental illness is a real issue which hunts many people. However, there is one particular demographic that is constantly overlooked: those who are African Americans. Many African Americans have created a culture where they are taught to keep your business to yourself. If you need help, then talk to your pastor or suck it up because nobody has time to hear your whining. In this culture, we have characters that we have created and mimicked. The strong black woman who carries the weight of the world on her shoulder without help or reprieve. Okay? I had a heart attack, y'all. I had a whole heart attack. The hard black man, he goes through life suffering in silence as to not further emasculate himself. These characters we seek to achieve are not real people. Another quote from this: the suicide rate for African Americans is among the highest when compared to other groups of people because of outside factors that are more prone to affect them, like homelessness and unemployment. And I would go out on a limb through research, through classes, and through just what I see on the media to contribute that as well to hopelessness. So we have homelessness, unemployment, and hopelessness. If they feel like there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to go, and it looks like there's no end in sight, that's hopelessness. That can lead to people taking their own lives. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, strength is hard to come by. You know what I mean? And every day you just might not feel like that you have that strength. And sometimes people just they give up. So I'm here, of course, by any means necessary. Is here to empower, educate, and entertain. We have real dialogue. It's not a place where we could, throughout this conversation, have differences of opinions through the viewers, through guests, and that's fine. It's all about just finding a solution. Again, we don't have to all go the same route, but the hope is one solution so we can all come together and help the black community as a whole. And I'm not separating. Y'all know me. I ain't separating black women and black men. I'm here for all of us so we all can be okay. Hey, Bianca.
Hey, how you doing?
So let's talk about this church thing first. I did grow up in the church, and I came from a mom who told me, I remember crying and being like, what you crying about? Not hearing that. Or going to say, her asking what's wrong, and then me saying what was wrong, and I'm getting
in trouble for it.
Yeah, for saying what's wrong. So what do you remember? What's your experience as a child when you were stressed out? How did you handle stress? And like, just as a child, how did you handle stress, and how was it dealt with in your environment?
Well, growing up, it wasn't a lot of I love you, a lot of hugs, a lot of confirmation that someone was there, you know, or that I'm your mom. For one, I didn't grow up with my father. I had other siblings, didn't grow up with them.
Same.
And I had a little brother. I was the only child for 6 years, for one. So that's like everything's yours for 6 years. Yeah. And then you have a little brother and he's mentally challenged. And so you deal with that. You go from having all of that to having nothing. It was like completely ripped away.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to voice that. I didn't know how to voice, one, who is this little boy? Two, what's wrong with them? And three, why does nobody see Bianca anymore?
Right.
You know?
And this was at 6 years old.
This was at 6 years old.
So right there at that moment, at 6 years old, that's a traumatic event. You know what I mean? And that right there, that's in a lot of times. And I am not a victim. I am guilty of this as well. Sometimes we see kids and their problems seem so minute to us that we're like, they good, they a child, they not really going through nothing. But what we have to do as parents and as people, adult individuals, is realize that even though you were 6 years old and even though my kids are 11 and under, that they've only been on this earth for however many years. So what's major to them, even though it might not be major to me, it's major to them, and it affects them emotionally, and it's real to them. So that for you was real. Your whole life changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it might be other stuff in other people's lives. It might be a move. Because I remember coming home when I was maybe 6, 7 years old, and there was a moving truck in my front yard, and I wasn't told that I was moving. That's my school, that's my friends, that's my house, and I moved that day.
And it's just like, deal with it. This is our decision.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Let's go.
And
your
then
feelings don't matter.
You also, I was in a single-parent household, so at that age, I was able to, just like you were, I was able to comprehend that I didn't want to be a problem. So you start stuffing and you start saying stuff because you don't want to make your mother mad or be an issue. So continue. But that's when that can be when stuff started.
Yes, that's actually where it is.
Yeah.
It is and it went from nobody knew how to handle my brother. Okay, I didn't know how to handle my brother. I didn't want to be seen with my brother. He would act out. We had to have him on. It was like the baby leash. So we would have to have him on the baby leash. So when I did finally get the courage to talk to someone, it was a teacher in elementary school. But the way I did it was I lied to make it seem like it was more extreme than what it was, just so I could get that
so you can feel
feeling that I had a few years ago, you know. So, you know, she called my mom. She talked to her. My mom
you got in trouble.
I should not be telling what goes on inside of her household to anyone else. So it's like, well, if I couldn't talk to you, I think I'm 8 at this point. If I can't talk to you,
the person
I found someone that I could talk to. She decided that this was an issue because she saw my pain. So why not try to fix it? So I got a beating. After that, nothing changed. So I went to writing poetry. That's when I
At
started.
8?
Yes, 8 years
Oh, I
old.
didn't know
Yes.
that.
That's when I started. Like little stuff,
Yeah.
roses are reds or whatever. But I
Expressing
started to
yourself.
feel, I'm like, okay, well, I can write. I can do a little something. I know how to rhyme. And then I would like take poems that was already written and start trying to change it to my own words.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I might can do a little more. So that's when I started writing my own poems. And
First off, I just want to know how I've known you for 7 years and never knew that.
that's how I started. You just knew I wrote poetry. You just didn't know how I started.
Exactly.
That's how it all. That was the root of it all. That was my outlet, and then
Okay.
I went to reading.
Yeah.
So then, when I was 12, I believe I was 12. I had a cousin that moved in with us. At this point, I'm not telling anybody about my brother. I'm not telling anybody
So
about.
you still having these same feelings. Still,
And it got
every
worse.
day.
It got worse. It's at this point, my mom's dealing with my brother. He's like 6 years old or something like that, and she's breaking down.
So you seeing her breaking down, you still feeling disconnected. I'm sure this is affecting your schoolwork. So okay, so pause right there. So teachers and counselors and everybody in between, if you are in that position of authority in a child's life, you might see that child. And I've recently I watched kids just walking into school, and I've seen kids who look depressed, who look down, and it just breaks my heart because I know they're in a classroom full of 16 to 30 other kids, and they're probably labeled as lazy, tired, just not connected, and they can be going through whatever at the house. That's a lot at 8 years old to have to deal. All kids should have to worry about is going to school, doing their homework, doing their chores. Honestly, in a perfect world, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But at 8 years old, you had all that.
You're pretty much like, okay,
burden.
now I have to take care of myself because she has to worry about taking care of this child that
You
the
don't wanna be
doctors
a
didn't
burden.
know. They didn't understand what was wrong. They didn't have much information about his disease at the time. So everything was on Brandon. Everything was on him. That's my brother's name. We're great, by the way, at this point.
He's great.
But so all of that. So at this point, I'm like, I'm meeting friends. Some of my friends get to do what they want to do. So I'm like, well, they look like they're having fun.
And they're not stressed.
There's nobody home to take care of me. So I'm about to go hang out with my friends.
And how old was this?
This was 8 years old.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So when I started to realize I have friends where, like, I can kind of do whatever. So 8 years old, I'm over there. That's when I tried my first cigarette. Yes, I tried my first cigarette when I was 8 years old. So I'm like, okay, my mom smokes cigarettes. I kind of like how this feels. Boom. I saw my mom doing it. I'm like, I like how I feel.
Yeah.
I can do it. All right.
That transition
So
just like that.
that went on for a couple of years. So it went from I'm hanging out with my female friends to I'm experiencing boys now.
Yeah.
And that was beginning to be an outlet because still my mom told me whatever goes on in the household has to stay in the household. So
Right.
I can't talk to her. I can't talk to my friends, and I can't talk to nobody. So I'm
Yeah.
writing. I'm just writing. That's where it went. So, but then the writing became not enough. So I experienced boys.
Yep.
I went to a house party, and
Same age?
yes.
They had house parties at 8?
Yeah. No, this is at 12. I'm at 12.
I was like, oh my
I'm
God.
at 12. I went to a
My
house
kids ain't going
party,
nowhere.
and it was this guy, like, and all of his friends and everybody was there. So I'm like, okay, I want to impress him. So I got my little first kiss and everything.
Yeah.
So I experienced that. Then from there on, my aunt had got married. So, and she would leave me with my uncle. He would babysit and all of that. From that point on, he began to say, he'll rub on my leg. That went on for a couple weeks.
And, and feeling like it's not right and all of these things, and of course transparency. Before that happened to me when I was 7, and this was my babysitter's husband, and I was going there every day. And you go through that, and again because when I don't know what to say, because when I say certain things, like it's an issue. I don't want to make anybody mad. Maybe this was my fault. All of that, and again, this is kids going through this. So we see what's happening to adults and how adults are at their end of their rope. And I'm seeing a lot of children at this point taking their own lives, cutting themselves. Children going through this, and these are just two women that You can see us every day in Walmart. Y'all know me. You know what I'm saying? You got friends and family and things like that. This is your story. This is my story. This is happening to us. So imagine what's happening in your own community. Go ahead.
That went on for a little bit. So I'm like, well, okay, I experienced my first kiss. I like attention from men.
Right.
This is a man. I'm thinking that's okay. But it went from that to now I'm going to force myself on you because you did allow me to rub on your leg. You didn't stop me because I was not taught that was not okay.
Right.
You know, but then I realized once that happened, it didn't feel right. This is not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Who can I tell? This is my aunt's husband. So,
family.
Exactly. So I did tell my mom, I want to say a few months later, I told her. And nothing happened. It swept under the rug. Nothing happened. She didn't say nothing to nobody. She told me just keep her under wraps that I just can't go over there no more.
And I'm sure that was a learned behavior. She probably was taught the same thing, that we're not gonna worry about any issues. We're not gonna embarrass the family. We're not going to, because she knew that was family. You know what I mean? And that probably was gonna cause drama and all these things. And meanwhile, all of these things are just adding like bricks. It's like cement, heavy cement. Somebody else laid another brick on top of your story that's already there at 12 years old. But
what she didn't know is it wasn't going to stop. You know, it kept going. It kept going until I was 16 years old.
And you learned,
so 12 to 16.
You were learning ways to mask. You weren't taught coping.
I started smoking weed. I actually, I'm hanging out more. I'm partying more. I'm drinking.
Whatever can mask that pain.
And I got to middle school. Seventh grade, it was one teacher. She listened. She listened. Because I got tired, you know, it's like, it's nothing I'm doing is working anymore. Nothing I'm doing. So what, I got to talk. Nothing else I'm doing. So I talked to her, and she did not tell my secret. She didn't go to my mom. She didn't go to anybody.
Again, one of the most strongest women I know, but one of the most intelligent when it comes to math, when it comes to being able to comprehend certain stuff. Like Bianca, I've always told you this, so intelligent. So your teachers probably saw that as well, and probably saw like, dang, this girl got so much potential. But you probably were angry and sleepy and snapping,
skipping class.
Exactly.
I'm not doing this.
So it was good that somebody recognized that and was like, hold up, come here.
And she did. She actually she taught me about female body parts, what I'm supposed to do. Yes. Because at this point, my mom's they're still focused on my brother, you know. And then I'm like, I told you something major. You did nothing about it. I'm never coming to you again, you know. So from that point on, it happened again at a party. My cousin's boyfriend's cousin. I guess they thought, I feel like some people feel like they can just take the control over a woman and do whatever they want to do because you dress like this or you look like this or you say this, but no means no. You know what I'm saying? But that it happens, you know. That's nothing at all. So when I finally got the courage to just say, forget it all, I was 17 years old, and I went to church. That was my first time going to church in about 5 years. So I cried, I laid it all out. But the next day, I was molested. So I let that go too, you know. So it's like okay, that didn't work. All right, so I'm back out. I'm doing this. I can admit I have sold myself for money. I've done a lot of stuff for money that I shouldn't have done. I've been on ecstasy. You know, I have been an alcoholic.
How old are you now?
I'm 28 years old.
And at what age did you? Because I met you at 21. So how did that happen? So from 17. When do you think was your rock bottom? At what age?
My first rock bottom was when I became pregnant with my twins. I became pregnant with twins. When I became pregnant, I found out their father actually had another girl pregnant, that he actually had a whole life that I didn't know anything about, you know. So that broke me because I'm vulnerable at this point. I'm like, this is my first pregnancy. This is somebody I want to. I thought I was going to spend my life with this person. So at that point, he let me go. It was just like, I'm nothing to you. So I was like, somebody could really do this to me. So at that point, I went back home. I told my mom everything I had been through out in those streets. And at that point, she saw I was pregnant. For the first time in my life, she listened.
It's something about babies. Because
She
my mom and I didn't speak for 2 years, but when I got pregnant with my son, it's something about babies. That they're like, all right. I think they feel like they know where they messed up at with us, so they want to try again with the babies. And now that we're becoming mothers, they want to be there. You know what I mean? I honestly don't feel like nothing my mom did. I think it was learned behavior, just like with your mom. You know what I mean? I feel like they really did try. They just don't know the tools because they weren't given the tools and they didn't have like avenues to just hear what to do. So they didn't know, and it, baby boomers, man.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of left us out there, but look at us.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And she took me back in. She helped me out a little bit, and I was relying on her because I had nobody else. The father left. It was just me, my mom, my little brother.
Yeah.
So she listened. Our bond grew. We began to actually listen to each other. To believe it or not, I did not know my mom.
Yeah.
She did not know me. To know that I lived with my mom, but I did not know my mom. She was sent off she went to her mental phase. She jumped out of mental institution and I went to family members' houses. I had to experience different lifestyles, different.
A whole story.
Yeah, I'm at a crack house because this aunt I'm with this month, she does crack, so I'm experiencing that.
Yeah.
I'm at a molester's house because this month, that's what he likes to do. Now I'm over here. They do heroin. They do just about everything. So I had to go through that part too. So I actually, I can admit, even when I was pregnant with the twins, I still did not understand the value of myself, the value of my body, the value of a woman, And I was having sex, pregnant and all.
Yeah.
And I was drinking, I was smoking, I had a miscarriage. I blame it on myself. Yes, I do. And that was something that hit me really, really hard. And I was like, because I could have avoided this,
How old were you when that happened?
I was 23, I believe.
Younger than that.
Younger?
You 28 now, right?
2009. It was in 2009.
I met you when you were 21.
And I was pregnant with Jason, so I was actually 19 then.
Okay.
I had to be 19. Okay.
Yep.
I was pregnant we were pregnant at the same time.
2 times.
Yes. Yes.
So at 19, that was when you lost them.
I lost them. I lost them.
What happened from 19 to when you walked in my office at 21?
I saw life born and I saw life taken away within 30 minutes. That's what happened. That God showed me, I gave you life and I took it away. You know what I'm saying? So exactly what you gonna do? I said, okay. What you want me to do, guys? So I did kind of change. I started going to church because that's what my family told me. You got to go to church. I went to church, but I won't feel in church. Yeah. I felt like this is not who I am, but this is who I have to be because this is who I.
This is the only other option because again, in our community, it's either you're having how it's presented. It's either you're in church and when bad things happen, you go to God and He fixes it, and things are great in church, or you're not in church and your life is horrible. Yeah, and we're not going to help you. So it's do what I say or... Right. So when you're going through what you're going through, it's like, dang, like I don't want to go through this no more. So your only option you thought you had was church.
Yes.
When you were there, it was like...
I was like, this is not me.
Right.
This is not me. So I started to do that, but it wasn't me. So I went back out in the streets. Went back out in the streets. I met my kid's father that I have now. I have 2 beautiful children, Heaven and Jason. My daughter is 5 years old. My son is 6 years old. And I call them my twins to this day because they look just alike. They act just alike, same height, same weight since the day they was born. So I met their father. First 6 months was beautiful. So beautiful. He treated me like the queen that I felt like I was, but the signs were there that I didn't see. Yeah. Little comments or little, you can't go here or you can't go without me, you know. And then I became...
We always see him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I became pregnant. And when I became pregnant, is you get an abortion or we're not going to be together. I said, well, we ain't got to be together because I don't believe in abortions. Right. That was my path. That was my take, and I was going to stick to it.
Especially Luke.
I had just lost twins. Right. Yes. So he wasn't having that. So from that point, I was every name in the book, okay? So that's when I started to see, okay, this is who he was.
I need something.
But I grew up without my father. I grew up just about all my life without my mom. Yeah. So I wanted to have that family. So I fought for it.
Right.
I fought for the wrong person. So I went back.
That time is when you were like, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm going through this stress. Is that when you were like, I need somebody to talk to? Is that what happened? Like, what made you think? Okay.
My mom actually got help a little while before I got pregnant. And she was telling me about agape.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. And then I met my man and all this stuff started happening. I said, so what's this place you was talking about? And that's when I actually had went to counseling when I was like, I went when I was 12, didn't work. And when I was 16, it didn't work. So that's why I was just like, well, that's not for me.
So if somebody listening is same thing, they're thinking about mental health, getting problems, they're stressed out, they go to their first person. So you went to 2 people and it didn't work.
They're
so
just listening. That's what it counts. Like they're just listening. They're not doing anything to help you. They're just there to listen and might give you a little bit of what they think you should do or judge what you're doing on your life.
A lot of times in therapy, it's about self-discovery. From what, and again, I went to therapy, and I remember the therapist telling me, "Well, you don't need me, and I'm here. Obviously, I do need you." But it's kind of like sometimes some therapists, they listen, and they kind of want you to kind of get to the point yourself, and they're like, "Okay, well, how do you feel about that?"
Yeah,
like, I need answers.
Like how do you feel about this?
Like, you know what? How do you feel? What should I be doing? So you had 2 experiences where you were like,
yeah,
you kept trying. So that's great.
So because she told me it was different. She told me this was something different. They do way more. I'm like, all right. So that's when I actually, me and my kid's father, we were back together, and I came to Agape, and I met you. I talked to this lady who was in charge, and she said, I have somebody who's perfect for you, and that is how I met you.
Yes,
and you have been a blessing to my life. Y'all don't understand. Mrs. Pierce has been, well, look, we on the show, Dominique, has been a blessing in my life. Y'all don't understand. When I came to her, I was toe up. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was toe up. And she listened to everything I had to say, and she did not judge me. She didn't say, you should do this, well, I would have did this, or maybe you should have did this. It was none of that. It was, well, we're going to figure out what we can do to fix this. We're going to figure out what we can do to, exactly. Come in, I'm calling her, and I'm like, I'm about to go whoop my baby daddy tail. She's like, I'm on my way. No, you're not.
You got stuff to do. So I'm glad you said something about judging, because it's not about that. So if you are somebody who wants to be in the mental health field, again, a lot of us, and everybody, like I said, we're 2 people, but a lot of us have trauma, and we have stuff that we went through. I'm not better than anybody. You know what I mean? And at that point, that would be like me calling the kettle black, whatever that saying is. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's different extremes to every story, but a lot of our stories, as far as like the stuff that we had to endure with our parents and just different situations, could line up. You know what I mean? So you can just tell people how you got through certain stuff. And when it comes to counseling, you don't, degree or not, you can sit down and help anybody. It's all about listening and honestly giving your feedback. Because I would be like, listen, I ain't saying do that. You know what I mean? But, you know, because I never wanted you to go to jail. I never wanted you to go to the hospital. That was my whole thing. Like, we gonna get through this and forget anybody else, because you have to be here for your kids and you have to be here for yourself.
And you made me realize that it's actually somebody in the world who cares about Bianca, and Bianca can actually pick up the phone at any hour, any time of the day, and I'm gonna get a response. You know, like when I was going through the domestic abuse with the kid's father. Whenever I got overwhelmed, I could pick up the phone and I could call you. I could text you. You would come over. You sat with me while I cried. You just did it all. You did it all. You helped me find a job. You just helped me get my life together, you know? So, you did.
But listen, I'm going to send this whole thing to you, because you know what you went through. But I want you to hear everything you said, you know what I mean? And to be able to hear how you went through all of that, but you went out and you found yourself help, and you still go through stuff. We still talk, and it's like, today is a bad day. You know, the cops pulled us over, and we got thrown on the street. But it's like, you grow, and you have to just make a conscious decision. Like, you know what I mean? Like today, for me, high anxiety day. Today was a bad day. I didn't feel good, all of that stuff. But you have to continuously, like, just put out into the universe what kind of person you want to be, and remind yourself of your goals. Look at your children. Think about the good things that are going on in your life, because you can be overly consumed. You know what I mean? And, all right, so thank you for sharing, because I didn't think you was going to say all of that, Bianca. That's amazing.
You know, I'm an open book.
Yeah,
it's
I appreciate
like
that, and you don't know who you're going to help by saying all of that, because anybody listening could be going through what you're going through, be going through less, worse, whatever, and they see you right here. They see you with your own place, with your own car, 2 healthy kids, job, and she didn't even tell you about the health problems both of her kids go through. The
Yep.
fact that when you had your son, I was in the room when you had your son. When you had your son, he was we were scared. We didn't
Yeah.
know what was happening to him.
Yeah.
All of that stuff was
You thought he
going
wasn't gonna make
through.
it.
But you're here right now. You know what I mean? And then like the whack jobs and thinking that things are going to change and then the setbacks, and that can be the most frustrating thing when you already have like anxieties or whatever you're going through, and then you get a good
boost.
and
you get dropped back
knocked
down.
That's like what do you do? How do you keep going? So
A pill is not the answer. I can't say that.
Say that again.
A pill is not the answer. They don't do anything. If anything, they make
and
you
they
feel
try to
worse.
pump her with medication.
Oh Lord,
so
for
many
years.
times. And I've been there, and she was like, "This is not working for me. This is making me feel worse. This is making me have bad thoughts."
Mhm.
And they kept saying, "We're going to change the dose. We're going to change the medication."
And it got worse.
They never gave you natural ways. They never promoted meditation. They never promoted exercise. They never promoted changing your diet.
Nothing.
They never did any of that stuff. It was always medication. And I got in trouble so many times because I agree with you. And I would go and I would be like, "She's taking medication." Well, tell her this. I ain't telling her that.
Right.
No.
Because it's like, how can you make me take something you
not
want
doing
me
it.
to take something that makes me feel worse than what
Yeah,
I already feel?
no.
So I'm going to go take this pill and I'm about to go think about shooting myself in the head real quick. No.
And it's always, well, you got to get through the first 3 months.
Yep. So your body can get used to it.
No. Meanwhile, I'm losing weight. I can't sleep. I'm shaking. I got kids to take care of. Like, that is crazy. When I tell you that Xanax is one of the worst things, like that joint had me, my mind was not right. And then going through the withdrawals from it. Like, if you can, please look up holistic ways, meditation. The same way they tell you to hang in there with medication, hang in there with meditation. You're not, I said it before, it's like muscle memory. You're not going to sit down the first time and be able to meditate and feel like you're being able to focus. You got to do it every day until you can sit down and really clear your mind. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's other alternatives that you can do to instead of medication. I want your opinion on something. All right. So again, talking about the suicides, right? So Anthony Bourdain, who was a celebrity chef, and Kate Spade, who was a designer, last week committed suicide. Horrible. Like suicide is final. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the most horrible decisions that you can make. But people get to that point, they feel like they don't have anywhere to go. So people had posted a comment on social media, and I seen plenty of memes, and it said, "Well, Bow Wow threatens suicide every day on Twitter." And Kanye West talks about bipolar, but it's not until Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain committed suicide that y'all care about this. I posted something about 3 times on Facebook and took it down because I know how people can read something and take offense or not really know where you're coming from. So I wanted to wait until this show to voice my opinion when it comes to something like that. Okay. Now, you are on both sides, and you can talk about the situation. To me, and I mean this with the most sincere heart, I work in the mental health field. Bianca explain to y'all how much I really do care. I have children. I have a great heart, and I really hope that this comes across the way it's supposed to. If your best friend every day or often is threatening to commit suicide, why you ain't called 911 yet? Why you ain't set up therapy yet? Why haven't you set up an intervention yet? I am questioning y'all instead of the people that's is saying rest in peace Anthony Bourdain or rest in peace Kate Spade. If your friend really is threatening to commit suicide, I'd rather you be mad at me for calling somebody to come to check on you than you not be here no more. So my question is, if they're doing this often, is it, because the thing about it is you don't want to say, are they seeking attention? Because that sounds bad. You know what I mean? But what is the intent? If somebody is doing this all the time, often, Bow Wow, you know what I mean? He has a girlfriend there. And it's so many people on social media. Say if Jay-Z or anybody came on IG right now and posted a threat and said, I'm in front of the Empire State Building with all the bombs. I'm blowing everybody up. Do you not think somebody will call 911 and send somebody to his location? When Bow Wow posts a picture on IG and says he's in Miami and says I'm about to kill myself, Is anybody calling 911 to check on Bow Wow? No. So all y'all people who are talking about people who are like not taking Bow Wow seriously, but having condolences for Anthony Bourdain, really think about the process and think about what people like him are doing. Now, I'm not saying there's not a mental health issue there, because I really do feel like that's there. I feel like there is something that needs to be addressed. I do feel bad for him. I feel like he does have probably people around him that maybe aren't the best for his energy, and they pull from him and take. And he probably does have suicidal thoughts. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if your friends doing it every day, or if you on social media doing all of that stuff, either send them help or don't have no opinion about people voicing their concerns when somebody does take their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Am I tripping?
No.
Okay.
I can see it from both sides, because me, from being a person who actually tried to commit suicide a few times, and me also seeing other people try to commit suicide, it's like you might feel like you have a lot of people around you, but they're not hearing you. You know what I'm saying? They're not taking you seriously. So maybe I'm gonna try this other outlet. And
So during that time, if you told somebody that and they called the ambulance on you, would you be mad at them?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
No, because me personally that is another way that if I feel like they're not hearing me, somebody else might hear me, but I might do it in a whole nother way. Somebody might feel like you didn't have to go about that way and do it like that. But they weren't listening, so now I might need your help. But guess what? You're not taking me serious either.
And then the thing about it is, if somebody really does do that, they do in their life, and then you sit there and like, dang, they did tell me they was gonna do that. Now everybody will be mad.
It's like exactly exactly.
So it's like what am I supposed to do?
I prefer for whoever is like making those threats, I want to end my life, I want to do this, I prefer for them to be mad at me. I've been in that situation where I walked in on my friend where she's foaming at the mouth. She done drunk about 10 bottles of cough syrup.
Yeah.
And she's foaming at the mouth. She's telling me, I want to die. Well, you not about to die on my watch. I call 911. I call her mother.
Somebody was going to do that,
yes.
That's what I'm doing. I'd rather you just not be my friend no more.
Yes.
But I'm not about to sit there and you tell me that and then be like, okay. Yeah. Like, I'm just not going to do that. And please, if you
And then it's like, if you didn't decide to get that help when the time comes that this person actually did that, don't want to hear rest in peace. Oh, now I feel bad because I could have did this. You were right. You could have.
Yeah.
So it's like, why do you feel bad then?
Exactly. So just stop again. Again, I say, stop judging your past is showing. Because unless you call in 911 every time you see somebody threatening suicide, you can't just come down on people for talking about mental health.
And that goes back to nobody. That's why a lot of people might not talk about it, because nobody takes it serious. Like, oh, Bow Wow, oh, that's another tweet. He's not serious, but deep down inside, he could be feeling at this point where, like, I really want to do this, but I don't want to do this, so somebody help me.
He got
I'm not saying like Bow Wow. I'm just using it because
we're going to use him because we don't really know him personally. It's a good example. So with somebody like Bow Wow I know for sure, has a mother and has a girlfriend that's pretty much around him all the time. Why they ain't call? Why they ain't get him?
They probably don't take him that serious.
Why?
That's the problem.
I think they don't take him, and it's
and
bad
I wonder, like,
because you don't want to say stuff and then he do it, and it's like, dang. But I feel like they don't take him seriously for a reason. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody knows people who say stuff like that often for either a reaction or for whatever reason it is, and it's all related back to mental health. Because even if you are saying stuff like that often for attention, that's an issue, and you do need some type of help, some type of support. But don't use suicide, because again, like, you don't want to use the boy who cried wolf thing. But as far as like places like Ripside Behavioral, they even be like, all right, like, you're not gonna keep coming here and we talk about you have to commit suicide. Like, you can't do that. And if you are close to somebody who is suicidal or somebody who just needs that, help them. And I feel like somebody
who does complain about it that much, who's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm every other week or something, they actually have the ability to get up and get themselves up. Me speaking personally, I've done it. You know, I have the ability to get up, and if I really feel this way, to get myself help if I feel like no one else is helping me.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So, and then I'm sure like the suicide part comes with the depression part, so they might not always want to get the help. But if you're reaching out to talk to somebody about it, you do want the help. You know what I mean?
You just don't know how
it's a hard situation. I don't have all the answers. I really don't. But I do know it's hard to just, you can't just be like, well, y'all can't say this because when Bow Wow do this, well, it's a reason the people around him ain't took it serious yet.
That's right.
And it's just,
you know why? Because when they asked the white boy to commit suicide, he say, because I done did everything.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Really?
What else I have to live for? I done seen everything. I did everything.
See
now there,
that's whack.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, you were a life, and you had...
That actually go through this,
yeah. And you got a daughter, dude. Like, your daughter, how your daughter feel hearing that you want all the time, you want to do that? Like, it's crazy. That's just crazy to me. Again, in our community. So please, if you are suicidal, if you are depressed, if you find that you can't sleep, mental health has such a wide scope, and it has such a broad symptoms. You know what I mean? If you feel different, if you feel like you're not happy, if you feel like you're up and down, if you feel like you can get extremely happy, then you'll be extremely mad. You feel like that whole 0 to 60 thing, that's not normal. Please get help. If you don't have insurance, there are free programs, you know what I mean, to get help. Just research things in your area. Don't feel ashamed. Please don't feel ashamed to get help, because we all want to feel good. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel fulfilled, and nobody wants to just walk around feeling like hopeless, you know what I mean, and that nothing that they're doing is worth anything. Mental health is so big. You can't concentrate if your mental is off. You can't sleep, and all of these things are building blocks just for a healthy body, period. If you're not sleeping, you're not able to function throughout the day. So it's so many things that your mental health leads to that we gotta make sure this is in check. Also, with mental health in our community, that's just the basic stuff. You know what I mean? The stuff that we hear about day to day. But overall in our community, even if you feel like you don't have a diagnosis, or you feel like that's not me, I'm not suicidal, I'm not depressed, I don't have anxiety, I don't have all of these things they're talking about, I want you to think about how it makes you feel when you see black people killed on the news every day. And maybe not every day. It's not every day anymore. But when you see the injustices that we have every day, and I say that because they talk about how slavery is the trauma through slavery has went through our genetic timeline. So yes, we were not slaves, but our parents and all of those, and the grandparents and the great parents, our actual DNA carries the mental trauma of slavery. So we have that, and then we turn to the news and we have a president like Trump, and we see different laws, and we see the police, and we see all these things that just from us being black alone puts us in this one category. How does that make you feel, and how are you processing that on a daily basis? Are you stuffing it down? Are you not acknowledging it? Are you not, how do you process that? Because that's important as well. You got to have somebody to talk to about that. You have to do things daily to put that in check. Again, driving, getting pulled over by the cops. What happened recently with you with cops?
We were on our way to Blackstone, Virginia, I believe it was, and we got pulled over in Sussex County. Now, I guarantee you all we were going maybe 55, 57 in a 45, okay? I can admit to that. So the cop pulled us over, and he said that we were going 63 in a 45. Not true. I was looking at the speedometer. My girlfriend was driving, and I'm always looking because I'm like, look, we both don't have no license, so we got to be careful. Right. So we got pulled over. Bianca. Yeah, so he walks up to the car. He's already like, roll the window down. We're like, all right. So we roll the window down. White cop. So we rolled the window down. He was like, can you step out of the car? My girlfriend was like, no. He was like, well, license and registration. So she was like, well, can I ask what we're being pulled over for? He was like, I'll tell you that in a minute. Give me your license and registration. I was like, well, so first of all. Already lied to, already treated like less than a person, already being yelled at, already being intimidated by, already knowing what Sandra Bland went through, what Philando Castile went through, already knowing that. Yeah. And this is weird. So I got nervous. I
Were your
pulled
kids
out
in the
my
car?
phone. No, it was just me and her, thank goodness. So that's when I pulled out my phone. She pulled out her phone. We got the recording because I'm like, I don't like his attitude. So I'm like, officer, what are you pulling us over for? He was like, soon as she give me her license and registration, I was like, this is my car. I'm like, babe, just give him the stuff. So she gives him the stuff. So he was like, this is a state ID. I asked for your license. She was like, this is all the ID I got. My license is suspended. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's suspended. He was like, so you don't have a license? She was like, I just said I don't have a license. So he was like, well, I need a license. This is all the ID I got, sir. So another officer pulls up. So he goes to the back. He runs through his stuff or whatever. Comes back to the window and he was like, Miss Lee, I need you to step out of the car. So she was like, well, what do you need me to step out of the car for?
So at this point, you probably are nervous. You don't know what's going to happen now. You're in Blackstone, Virginia, which sounds like I've never heard of Blackstone, Virginia before. 2 black women, unlicensed, being pulled over by intimidating white cops, and now she's being asked to step out the car.
Yes, for driving on a suspended license. Now, me being pulled over before, you don't have to step out of the car for getting pulled over for driving or suspended. You know, you get your ticket, you wait for somebody to come pick you up, and you go about your business. You know, you step out of the car when there's another issue. So we're like, okay, well, she's registered, she's armed security. So we're like, well, maybe they think it's a gun in the car. So that's what we're asked. They was like, we'll let you know what's going on once you step out of the car. I said, she's not stepping out of the car, sir. So she was like, babe, I got it. So she's like, give me a minute. I'm about to step out of the car. I'm going to give her my stuff. So we have our dog with us. So she's giving me the dog. I'm putting him in the bag. She's handing me her phone, all of her stuff or whatever. So as she's doing this, I guess he gets impatient, reaches his hand in the window, and proceeds to unlock the door. No, she's trying to give me her stuff. So he proceeds to unlock the door, open the door. So she pulls the door closed. She was like, I'm trying to give her my stuff. You need to calm down. So he yanks the door back open, grabs her arm, and pulls her out of the car. I'm like, officer, all she's
suspended license.
Exactly. The dog was sitting on her lap. She has all of her stuff in her lap. She's trying to hand me the dog, hand me everything. And this is what he does. So they walk around the back. The other officer was not actually that bad. So she was like, she does have a skin problem. She was like, I'm in the sun, my skin is itching. So the nice officer tried. He stepped back, was like, I'm going to find you some shade. The other officer was like, you're good in the sun, you'll be all right. So that's when I'm trying to get out of the car. I want to walk to the back, and I'm like, well, what's going on? He comes around and closes my door, pushes my door closed. So I still have the camera recording or whatever. So the other officer comes. He was like, I do apologize. He was like, she's going to be going to jail. I said, for what? So he was like, driving on suspended. It seems that she was advised that her license was suspended. They take her to jail for nothing, come to find out. All right. So I'm sitting there and waiting for a phone call, and they take her. It's like 4 minutes up the road. I end up calling the jail, and they're like, well, she's actually being released right now. I was like, there's no bond, there's no anything. They was like, no, they shouldn't have really arrested her. They was like, the magistrate let her go on her own recognizance and said, we'll see you in court. They
Just
took her there.
This regular day as a black woman, on top of all the other stuff we talked about. So this, again, is regardless if you don't have any of the other stuff that we talked about today, this can happen to anybody. And again, yes, it was a suspended license, but Sandra Bland didn't have a suspended license. You know what I mean? So again, I just need y'all to think about the trauma and just the stresses on top of everyday kids, work, little stuff that might happen from here every now and again. So mental health is a big issue. You have to make sure you're in check. And to me, this is my opinion, and Bianca's as well, and Nick's as well, medication is not the way. Medication is not the answer. Like, that is a chemical that changes your brain. Please just look up different alternatives. Look up, like, again, alkaline. Just different ways, different techniques, different ways to just increase endorphins and just lower your cortisol levels. Okay, because we gotta change. Like, this ain't been working. We've been medicated. We've been jailed. We've been yelled at. We done been told to stuff it down. We done been told all of these things. It ain't working. So now let's try something else. Let's try the healthy way and see what happens. Let's try the communication and see what happens. Let's try building the community and the network and see what happens. Let's not just be like, it ain't gonna work. Y'all go to medication because medication's easy. I went to medication because medication was easy, but it's legal. And if you actually have that person that's like, I'm there, I'm willing to listen,
let them help you.
Yeah.
Don't feel like, well, I can't tell them this because they're going to think of me different or they're going to think I'm crazy. If they're there and they're like, I'm going to listen, look, I understand, talk. Whatever come to your mind,
'cause it helps.
talk. You're not crazy. You are, believe me, you are not crazy. A lot of us, we think the same things and we're like, oh my God, if I say this out loud, then everybody's going to judge me. They're going to be like, oh my God, this girl is crazy. You're not. You know,
that went through that after I had my first child. I thought like I'm going crazy. And I didn't know about postpartum. You know what I mean? I was young. I wasn't happy. My child was crying all the time. He was sick. I went through postpartum. I remember thinking like I want to just like throw him. I remember thinking like that. You know what I mean? And just not saying it because I don't want to be like you're a bad mom or you're crazy. And that was real feelings because I was going through postpartum depression and I didn't have anybody to talk to about how I was feeling because my network at that time it wasn't supportive. So it was just like, I was just 20, depressed, got through it, kept getting pregnant afterwards, and nothing changed. You know what I mean? So that junk is real. Like, y'all have to address what's going on in your mind. Like, it's so real. So I know the difference, and I know from where you started and where you are now, it's a big difference. Do you feel different, like a different person?
Yes. Let me tell y'all, I don't even know what a club is anymore. So Alley. It started with an S. The Steel House. Was it Steel House or something like that? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, I sit in that house. I go to work. I take care of my kids. I had bought a car recently. The car broke down. Well, I just bought me another car. Okay, I got a promotion at work. My girlfriend just got a job at the shipyard. Okay, so like the kids are happy. We are doing very like I went from I still have anxiety. I do, but I talk. I still call Miss Pierce. I talk to my girlfriend. We have been together for 2 years, just almost, and she has been a joy. Like, she accepts me for me. You know, I found that person that accepts me for me.
Talk now. You let her know how you felt. Y'all built
talk,
that relationship. If you are a mother, something big, talk to your daughters. You know what I mean? Like,
never talk down to them.
Yeah,
don't
tell them. Parents, apologize when you're wrong to your kids.
Tell your child, your daughter especially, she is beautiful every day. Her hair is beautiful. Her skin is beautiful. Her smile is beautiful. Just let her know she's beautiful because that every day it'll work.
Because they want to look for fathers. Call your daughters beautiful. Take your daughters out on dates. Let them know that you are the first contact. So they ain't looking for nobody else. They'll know what it's like. So when little boys come up trying to push game, it ain't gonna work because their daddy showed them what it was.
People, like women, if you're going through anything where the father's not involved or you doing anything in domestic violence, I have been there. It can change. I've been through the wire with my kid's father, like domestic violence. He's not there. Guns put to my head, just beat down. Hospital visits, all of that. And he is now at tires being slashed. But doors being busted down, and he is now in my kid's life, and we have no drama. He has a girlfriend. I have a girl.
So things can change.
Things can change. Just have hope, be patient, and just do what you got to do until that time. Can't force nothing, and just know everything gonna be all right.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Giving up is never the answer. Maybe a change of environment could be the answer, but giving up is never the answer. Bianca, thank you so much. I always ask my guests when they come on, either professionally or personally, what will you, Bianca, do by any means necessary?
I will do anything necessary. Okay.
All right. So whatever you got to do to make sure y'all good.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. So by any means necessary, you will do whatever is necessary.
To make sure my family's straight. That's right.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Look at you. Look at her. I'm so proud of you. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. This was the Scratching the Surface on mental health. To wrap it up, mental health is nothing to be ashamed of. If you need help, get help. Even if you feel like you don't need help, talk it out. Find somebody, whether you got one person or a village. They have Doctor on Demand where you can literally FaceTime a therapist. If that is the answer, do that. If you are on medication, regardless of what my opinion is, just don't be ashamed. But please look into other alternatives that may be able to help you. Exercise, meditation, diet, food. if you're in a committed relationship, sex is great to
Yes.
help with endorphins and things like that.
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
exercise. So get it popping. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to By Any Means Necessary. Peace, love, light,